Welcome to Let's Talk UCA, the podcast where we connect, collaborate, and communicate with chiropractors from around the globe. I'm Holly, and in this episode, I'm joined by Molly Renkin-Holloway as we speak to Sonya Floreani. Sonya shares her journey into chiropractic, her passion for the profession, and the founding of the UCA. We explore the importance of community, mentorship, and delivering a united message in chiropractic care, as well as the shift towards a nervous system-focused approach. Sonya also reflects on the future of the profession and the legacy practitioners hope to leave behind. All right. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us for this podcast. This was quite a spontaneous podcast that we've decided to do because Sonya has flown in from Australia all the way to the UK just for our Founders Weekend as we celebrate 25 years of the UCA. A super special guest. And we thought, why not? She's jet lagged, I know, and she's only here for a weekend, but let's throw her in the deep end and do a podcast as well. Why not? While we're here.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, so we're going to be interviewing Sonya today. We have got questions from our board members. We've got questions from Molly and myself. We've got questions from some of our other podcast team and other members of the UCA. So it's going to be a mix of questions that we'll be covering today. And yeah, let's dive right in. Molly, do you want to do a quick introduction for yourself for our listeners?
Yeah. So my name's Molly. I'm a recent graduate from Barcelona College of Chiropractic. And I'm the daughter of Anne Renkin, who was a part of the board, and also Steve Holloway, who was a part of the founding of the UCA. So this is a very full circle moment. I'm finally graduated and I'm having my own input with the association. So that's me.
Amazing. And Sonya, who are you? Introduce yourself to anyone who might be listening who hasn't heard your name before.
Okay. I've been a chiropractor now for 33 years. Graduated from Phillips Institute of Technology with Anne and with quite a few other Aussie chiros that we've got over here in the UK. I'm a Floreani. We've got quite a big, I think there are 23 chiropractors in my family at the moment. And graduated from Pitt. I came over and worked over here for 10 years. And then that was when there was a bunch of us, small group that sort of got together and talked about setting up the UCA or setting up an association. And yeah, I love chiropractic. I'm a lot involved. My daughter went to BCC and 3 of my nephews. And then she went to ACC over in Australia as well. And I've got my son, he's in first year at ACC at the moment. So yeah, I love chiropractic, big chiropractic family, love going to seminars and just hanging out with my tribe, really.
Amazing. And what do you love most about chiropractic? You've told us that you love it, but what do you love the most?
My gosh, what do I love most? I think I love that we can empower people and empower families to make awesome, life-changing health choices. That's probably my big key. I love seeing lots of kids and lots of families. I also, I just love being able to connect people with their innate intelligence. I think it's just such a privilege to be able to connect innate to people with babies in particular, but pregnant mums and tradies and whatever. And I just love it that with our profession, I always go on a busman's holiday. Everywhere I go, somebody needs chiropractic care. So I just love it that you take your whole chiropractic career with you. So I adjust, the chef who's, when I go skiing, there's someone with a torticollis or there's someone who hurts themselves, or you always go on a bus driver's holiday. You're the bus driver. You get to do chiropractic everywhere you go. And I love it. I get free cakes, free ski lessons, all sorts of things, just because, we have such a gift. And I feel really privileged to still be able to do what I do. I still love what I do after so many years in practice. So, yeah, love it.
Amazing. And when did it begin for you? So what made you decide to be, you said you're one of 23, is that right? One of 23 chiropractors. When did you decide for yourself that, okay, this is what I want to do?
Well, I was the first in my family, chiropractors. Yeah. So I wanted to do medicine, to be honest. And then when I finished my year 12, my final year at high school, I didn't get high enough marks, like your GCSEs, I think they are here as an ATAR score in Australia. My marks weren't high enough to get into medicine. So I thought, well, I'll go back and sit it again, and had to sit with my brother. He was a year below me. And I thought, I better just make sure this is what I want to do. So I spent a bit of time with a physio, with a naturopath, with a medical doctor, and I was about 10 minutes with a chiropractor and went, this is it. This is my job. This is my vibe. This is just because you could not just work out what the problem was, you could actually do something about it. So then I was little Alice Springs country hick. That's kind of near Ayers Rock, right in the centre of Australia, and I had to move to the big smoke to Melbourne. So it was a big, big journey for me when I'm come from a big family and used to just hanging around in Alice Springs with no shoes on. And yeah, went to Melbourne and studied chiropractic for 5 years. So yeah, I was the first. I'm one of 6. 3 of my brothers are chiropractors, and all 3 of them have married chiropractors. And then I've got nieces and nephews, and we've been to New Zealand College and BCC and ACC and RMIT. So yeah, so there's a bucket load of us, and yeah, chiropractic is that's what we talk a lot about. At Christmas time, we have organic turkeys, and we live the chiropractic lifestyle. So like nobody really gets jabbed, and nobody has medication, and rarely do you go to the doctor, unless you've fallen off a roof or something like that. So we live the chiropractic lifestyle. So it's great. That's just what we know. That's my kids just only know natural health, really. So yeah, I feel very, very, very blessed, very lucky.
Awesome.
Molly,
Okay. Yeah, so you've spoken a little bit about how you came to the world of chiropractic, but let's focus in a little bit around the time period of when the UCA was founded. Can you recall what was kind of happening, what the political landscape was in the UK? What really was the thing, your reason why you thought this really needed to happen?
Okay. At the time, when I was, I think it was 1998 that I came over, 97, end of 97, start of 98. And Kimberly Furness was my best friend going through uni. And Kim was working over here and said, look, why don't you come over and check it out? And I was coming for 3 months just for a holiday. And I ended up working with an osteopath, actually, whose twin brother is a chiropractor. I worked in his practice as an osteopath, but talk the chiropractic talk. And I was just going to do 2 weeks for him. And then I ended up staying for a while. We had a ball. We used to look at the back of the Soto journal and kind of go, oh, Prague, let's go there. Didn't matter what seminar was on and whatever, we would just go to Prague, and then we'd go to Rome. And then, so we had quite a few Aussie chiros here, and a lot of us would go to different seminars and have a great time. And then the GCC, there were a lot of talk about the GCC. That was, I think, 1994 that they started talking about that, and it wasn't until 1999 that it kind of came into fruition, and we all thought it was going to be a great thing. We looked at sort of politically trying to get a bit involved. Most chiropractors didn't really see children, and I was having kids at the time, so was Kim. And so we sort of thought we need to know a bit more. We got Sigafus to come over and do some seminars over here. And this was way before the UCA. And then GCC didn't work out to be as much as what we thought it was going to be. We thought it would be great to have regulation. We had some awesome grandfather clause chiropractors here at the time. But it ended up being a lot more restrictive than what we thought, and really fear-mongering that, we couldn't talk real chiropractic talk. You couldn't do care plans. You couldn't, it was, how qualified were we to see babies? And so anyway, it just there was a lot of fear-mongering, and we just thought we have to make a stand. There was a very, very small group of us that went to the Lakes District. Your dad was one of those. Greg Lees, Kim, there was a few of us that ended up in the lake just talking about it, and we went, it's a lot of work. Like, we couldn't get into the BCA. There was a lot of older chiropractors that didn't want Aussies in there, and especially not female chiropractors in there. And then the Scottish Chiropractic Association was only quite small, still good philosophy, but we were in England, and we thought we really need something in England. McTimoney, awesome philosophy. Christina was amazing and had brilliant vision. But we just thought we needed to do something. And so we talked about setting up an association, and then there was, a whole group of us that we just gathered more and more people, and it was like this tribe just formed, and it just got stronger and stronger. And I think, a couple of times it was like, are we doing the right thing? There was no way that we were going to quit. There was no way that we weren't going to. And if I was sort of doubting, then, Kim would step up, or your dad would step up, or your mum would step up. Like, everybody just, it was like, we've got to do this. For chiropractic, at the time, we were gowning patients, before they got adjusted, and you're taking blood pressure on patients. And, it was a lot more about the symptoms. And we knew that wasn't chiropractic. Chiropractic was about the nervous system. And we had Sigafus chewing in our ears, and he was really the one that gave us a big nudge, Kim in particular. But, your dad, for not being a chiropractor, was an awesome, inspiring individual to make us, to help, just to lead the tribe, if you like. But the more and more chiropractors just kept adding. And Stu Ringsberger, who's not with us anymore, he was terrific. Adrian Wenbad came over from Barcelona to help us set our, do our mission statement and our goals and values and core values and stuff like that. So people just came out of the woodwork. Mark Postles came over to help us. Nairi Cannon, was terrific. We just had so many people that just stepped up and helped us to move in that direction. And I said, we weren't not going to do it. So
Yeah, wow.
yeah.
So it's a big thing with a long legacy and a lot of people involved, and it's a pretty amazing thing that's still running today. Like
Yeah.
CE is huge. It's been a staple in my life every single year since I was a child, which I think is pretty amazing. And I have very clear memories as a kid, like running around little, when you speaking about seminars and stuff like that, I have memories of running under tables and everything like that. And I think it's so cool that there's a lot of kids who are children of chiropractors, a part of the UCA, and it's also such a strong part of their life. I also go to university with Melissa's son, Alex, as well. So it's like we're all connected in this weird, wonderful way through this
Yeah.
whole thing. So, but what really has kept you going through your career as a chiropractor and your involvement in this? Is there a particular passion besides the love for the art? Is there a particular story that's inspired you throughout this process?
I think I'm really lucky. I'm involved quite a lot with ACC over in Australia, in Adelaide, but we've just opened a campus in Melbourne. And I think we have such a good tribe. They're like-minded people, and so you can go out and have friends in different sort of arenas and whatever. But your chiropractic team, a lot of us have our own businesses, so you know what it's like to run a business. You've got to hire and fire staff. Your kids, you want them to grow up with a chiropractic lifestyle. It just kind of keeps you together. It's like we're connected with this chiropractic glue. It just kind of keeps us all together in lots of ways. I think, I don't know, it's such an amazing profession. Whenever I speak to the students, I feel like I wish I could take my head off and put it on your head, like as a student or as a new grad or if you could only see the miracles that we see every day in practice. And it gets, when someone fills in their new patient form and they sort of say, like, I get headaches and period pain and sciatica and, difficulty sleeping. And, in my head, I'm just going, yep, yep, yep. Like chiropractic helps all of that, in one way or another. And we empower people to, eat better, to exercise more, to have good sleep, to do a natural, pregnancy and birth. And like, God, if you think of the results we get in chiropractic, if you could have a pill and get those results, people would have that pill and pay $1,000 a day for that pill. And we get that with chiropractic. It's natural, and you're actually removing the interference and allowing this person to be the very best person they could be. I just don't think you can put a price on that. And I get to do it every day, and I get paid for it, and I get paid really well. So, I love going to all the seminars. I travel all the way around the world and go to fun things like this. I only decided 3 or 4 days ago to come. So I think it's such an amazing profession, and I just love it when once I went to Spain probably about 15 years ago, and I was talking to some of the chiropractors there, and they were just saying, well, what else can I do in practice? And these are people with maybe 10, 12 years under their belt. And I was like, I actually love doing the new patient appointment. And I know a lot of chiropractors delegate that out and you have a tech CA sometimes. But the new patient appointment, when the patient gets it, when they understand that they've got the power within to do the healing, it's almost like this penny drops and you see their eyes open. That's like, I don't know, it's like liquid gold to me. It really floats my boat when you just kind of, they get it. It's like then they're going to start, changing their life in such a good way. And I remember we were talking once about what should your care plan be? And I can't remember where the research is, or it's like once you've had something like, and it's pretty specific, it's like 78 adjustments or something like that, people start changing from the neck up. It's like this is now no longer about physically what I feel in my body. It's actually, they start changing the people they're hanging around. They start reading more books. They get out of a job that they've been in for 20 years that they've been really unhappy with. They're just like, if you can make that sort of impact on people, wow, like why would you not still want to be a chiropractor? Like it's really cool. It's such a good profession. But I think you kind of need to keep reminding yourself. Sometimes you get stuck in the everyday running of a practice. But when you talk to the students and you talk to new grads and you just talk about the amazing results, the miracles we see every day, and we just really take it for granted. So I think you kind of need to go and talk just to remind yourself, this is what I do. It's just, it's pretty exciting. We've got a bit on like having a lasting impact or like a legacy in chiropractic. And I think when I think about that, I was listening to Steve Franson speak just a couple of days ago, and he said one of I think it's their values in their practice is that they want people to know that families that come into their chiropractic offices are are happier and healthier than those that don't. And I would love, as a legacy, if the general public just knew that if your family gets chiropractic care, they're happier and healthier. I would love that was just like a known fact. I just sort of think that would be exciting. And then the other thing, if we had a united message in chiropractic, like if lifetime wellness or lifetime chiropractic care was what all chiropractors spoke about, like that would be a pretty awesome legacy. If we could kind of just get chiropractors on board, doesn't matter what technique you use, what scheduling you do, but it kind of makes sense that you would have chiropractic care for your whole life. And, newborn babies and, young kids and elderly people, like everybody should get chiropractic care. The tradies, they work better, they survive longer at their job if they get adjusted. I think that sort of stuff. I think the big thing for me is, I was speaking to Mark Postles not that long ago, and he just sort of said he doesn't think chiropractic is as good as when he started. And I just feel like I want to leave chiropractic better than how I found it. And so the same thing, it's like, how would we make chiropractic better? And so that's one thing that I think I would really like to, I don't know, make it better than what it was when I started. And it was pretty good when I started. We had a bit of work to do, and we've got a bit of work to do now. But I think if we could get back to it being a nervous system focused thing, I would like us chiropractic not to be about symptoms. If chiropractic was about, adapting to whatever stresses you have in your life and just really nervous system focused, that'd be massive legacy. How we do that, I have no idea, but
So there's been a lot of talk recently, especially in my generation that are learning stuff at university, about how we integrate kind of with the medical system that's already there. And you've kind of explained a little bit of a vision of the future about how nervous system based, lifetime based, all of those things. How do you think that could be integrated with other medical professions? And where do you think that fits? And how can we communicate that with people?
I actually don't think we're not even in their realm. Like we're talking, like we don't even, you do talk prevention, but it's much more about lifestyle. It's life-giving. Medicine is sick care. We're well care. So I don't even know that we don't even sit in the same paradigm really. So I think we need to create our own paradigm. There's lots of people now that are looking for something different. They don't want to go to the doctor and get the medicine, the medication, the whatever for whatever ails them. People are now much more educated and they're looking for answers. We've got the answers. We've got the gold. So I don't know what we tend to in chiropractic. I think we're the poor cousins. And we're not. Like, we hold everything. You talk to most medical doctors. I've got one of my cousins is an ENT surgeon, and he's not happy in practice. It's like he's very limited with what he can do. We just allow the body to heal itself. So that's why we get amazing results in so many things. So I would like to see us actually move away from trying to be in that paradigm and have our own paradigm. That would make a lot more sense to me.
Well, that's music to my ears. That's a conversation I seem to be having on repeat. Like, why would I be like them? They're so unhappy. I'm showing my biases here a bit too much.
No, not at all.
And then you spoke a little bit when we were speaking about chiropractic in general, about barriers and things like that. So can you think back to any major barriers that you recall in regards to the founding of the UCA that may have been tricky for you guys to navigate? Was there anything in particular that was just like, oh, we just have to get through that thing, besides the fact you had the GCC going on and everything there?
Yeah, I think the GCC was probably the biggest one. There were lots of little things. Realistically, when you think of, we were all chiropractors pretty much, and your dad, was practice manager and CA. He was always there. We didn't really know what we were doing to start with, and we just had enough of us that were willing to look into it and go the extra mile. And so everybody, we made it up. We fake it till you make it. That's exactly what we did. Just while we were trying to learn what to do and the best way to do it and the ways to go about things. There's someone like Melissa, even when Melissa came on board as well, like she was just amazing. She just was like a bull terrier where you just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. CE, there was people not turn up, or people that, were going to be there that weren't there. And like it just, we just somehow made it work. So I think there wasn't anything that was going to stop it, because there was too many people that was too passionate. And it was really all for the better of chiropractic. And we didn't know what it was going to be like, and we didn't know what having the GCC was going to be like. But when you started to feel that belt tighten and they started to restrict us a bit more, it almost gave us more gusto to go, okay, we've got to get this happening. We've got to get it moving. And like I had a little one, so I grabbed coattails of anybody who was in front of me. And I think there was just more and more of a tribe. None of us really knew what to do. There was a couple of pretty amazing leaders in the group. And then more and more people just added and kept joining. And then we ended up with more and more founders that then really pushed it. Christoph was amazing. He was there. He was only a really young grad, Christoph there. CV, he was there and he was a young grad and he just pulled along. Simone Zanon was there and Estelle Zorna. Greg Lees was from Alice Springs. He rode his bike halfway around Australia to get to Pitt, Phillips Institute of Technology, to actually start chiropractic. And there was just some people with some tenacity that just wouldn't let go. And the leaders just had a whole tribe that were coming along behind them. So, and our practice members like CE, I think CE, Chiropractic Essentials, really pulled us all together. It was kind of a reason to get together, to be with your tribe. We had some amazing speakers, just to listen to Mark Postles in Australia. He's like the grandfather of chiropractic. And everybody just loved Mark. Mark came over and ran seminars over here so that we could all improve our practices and go from gowning patients and taking blood pressure to, giving good service. Naira Cannon used to bring all of her Canon Communications information over so that we all had tools that we could use in practice. So she was pretty amazing. We had a seminar, I think, with Edinburgh lectures. We used to go up to that, go to the Edinburgh lectures, and there was a big group of, Aussie chiros and then Scottish chiros that had the Scottish chiropractic group, and they would hold things up there. We had DeMartini once. There was 15 of us in a room with John DeMartini. This was way before he got as big as what he is now. So yeah, it was a fantastic time. We went to amazing seminars. We traveled all over the world. We didn't have, before the GCC, we didn't have. You've got VAT over here, haven't you? GST over in Australia. We didn't have to pay that. It was a great time. I remember traveling. I worked for a couple of weeks and then I traveled around Europe with a little bum bag full of 20-pound notes because I got paid in cash. And it was such a great time. But we knew too that we couldn't just, wallow in that. We had to make sure that the profession stayed amazing and just got stronger and stronger. And the UCA, what you guys have got now is incredible. Like I love looking at, even just today I was going through the website just going, oh my gosh, some of the people now that are part of, the UCA, and it just looks so professional. There's so much integrity. I'm so proud to have been part of it right at the start.
I was just about to say, you must be so proud to look at it now and think, wow, I was there from day one. What a special feeling.
It's very special, and I would love to come back. I haven't been to CE now for quite a few years. I've been back in Australia, I think 18, 19 years now, so I haven't been for quite a while. And I was just looking at the photos on the website and thought, oh my God, look at the people you've got there, the speakers you have, the caliber of speakers you have. You guys have done an amazing job. It's just, I just feel like we just kind of lit the candle in you guys. It's like now it's like a bonfire. It's massive. So it's such an exciting thing to see. But I just think to the UCA, it's so important that it stays really strong and stays true to the values, like all the core values that are on the website. It's so important because you guys are such a beacon. It's like you're a light in Europe, and there's lots happening all over Europe, and with BCC, with what they're doing in France, there's lots happening. But in the UK, you guys, like even the Scottish College now, like how awesome is that we've got a Scottish College now where we can get vitalistic graduates. I just sort of think it's really going places, and the UCA has so much to do with that. So it has to stay strong and it has to stay true to the values. And I think for the leaders coming up, up and coming young people, just get involved. We had no idea at the time what we were doing. And there were some people that just blazed ahead and other people that just dragged along, and everybody put their hand in their pockets to, come along to seminars and bring students. And remember there was a group from the Northeast. We had an awesome group of chiropractors up in the Northeast. We had Luke Ramsey and Greg Lees and Alan Scott and Richard Milo. There was a whole bunch of us there, and a few of us came down to AECC, and I had to send the PowerPoint that we were going to do to the students through to the powers that be at AECC. Otherwise, they wouldn't let us speak to the students. And there was about 8 lecturers up the back with their arms crossed, listening to every word that we said when the students just asked lots of questions. And then we put on beer and pizza for a whole weekend, and each of us just picked a technique, and we just walked the students through Activator and Thompson and SOT and network, and it was just to try and get them to see a little bit about the different techniques that are out there in chiropractic at AECC. And I just think of some of the students there that just came and observed, and they were hungry. They were hungry to learn. So even now with what we're doing in Australia, we're just trying to mentor as many of the new grads. In Australia, the 50% of students won't be in practice 5 years after they graduate. 50%, and that's because they lose their vision or their focus. And I think that's our job as older chiropractors, and even Molly, with you're so blessed because you've got such a strong standing in chiropractic already because of your family and your upbringing. We need to give that to all the young students and the new grads, just so that they don't quit. That it's hard work to set up your own business and to be in practice, but if you've got someone that mentors you, and I would say have 4 or 5 mentors that you go to for different things, for running a business, for being great at the skill set that you need in chiropractic, for communicating. There's great seminars out there now. A lot of the American chiropractors are coming over to help us with communication and coaching and technique and stuff like that. Go to as many seminars as you possibly can. And as a student, they're much cheaper, so definitely go to lots of seminars if you can. But I would just love the thought of each chiropractor mastering a technique, become a master in a technique, or more than one if you can. But you can master one and be really good at our craft. And then communication, we need to learn how to communicate better. It's most people don't understand what chiropractors are. When we first got here, when I was here, whatever it was, nearly 30 years ago now, chiropractor, most people thought I was a chiropodist. They thought you were a podiatrist.
Yeah. My mum still gets those phone calls to this day. She had someone last week that was like, "Oh, can you come and take care of my feet?" And she's like, "We're not a chiropodist or a chiropractor."
Yeah, and I couldn't believe it. Chiropodist is not a thing in Australia, but here in the UK, it was like, and you'd go out and you'd talk to people and say, "I'm a chiropractor." You're a what? And then you talk subluxation. That S thing, that sub thing that you've got. It was just it was a long way back then. We used to work up in Newcastle upon Tyne for 10 years. And the Geordies and the Northumbrian sort of accent. They didn't understand me, I'm sure, because I spoke fast and with an Australian accent. And but they just were excited. They didn't know we had something that they wanted. They didn't know what it was, but I think it was just the excitement to educate people about looking after their health. And even the old farmers that used to do an X, my CAs used to write the checks for them, and they would just sign the bottom of it, because a lot of them were illiterate and they couldn't write, but they trusted us. They would come in their Sunday best whenever they came for their adjustment off the farm. It was awesome to work here in the UK. It was such a beautiful start. Like, I was only a couple of years in practice when I first came over here, and I think, wow, what an opportunity, and what a and yeah, I feel so lucky to have done the 10 years I did here.
So you've spoken a little bit about communicating that vision. So I'm curious, so one of the questions we have prepared here is, how would you explain chiropractic to a 5-year-old? So what is the simplest way that you can explain chiropractic that even a child would understand?
Okay. I was really lucky. I went to India on a mission trip, and it was with Mark and Lynn, Mark Hudson and Lynn. And they always made sure that we educated the patients first. So they would do a healthcare talk. And then I had a interpreter that was working with me, and I explained to her what chiropractic was, got her to explain to the people before I'd adjust them about chiropractic. And so I didn't know their native tongue, so she would explain it. And after a while, she would just explain really quickly. And I said to her, "Are you explaining what we're doing?" She said, "Yeah." So what are you telling them? And she said, "The message goes from the brain. There's a hole here. What the doctor's going to do is open the hole so God can fix your body." I was like, oh my God, what an amazing way to explain chiropractic. God's going to heal you. We just got to remove the interference. It wasn't about neck pain, back pain, headaches, migraines. Let God do the healing. So I think that's pretty simple. So same sort of thing, I suppose, with a child. It was just, let's just open this up, and then the light's going to turn on. So you're going to see better and feel better and digest better and sleep better. My brother Sam's got 5 kids. He's a chiropractor, and so is his wife Gab. They run the Innate Summit over in Australia, and he says to his kids when they get adjusted, they go, "I'm stronger and I'm smarter and I see further." Like, the kids have got this little dance that they do, that when they get adjusted, all this stuff that improves. And I think that's pretty simply chiropractic. That's exactly what we do.
I love that. That's great. That's really, really good. I love that. And especially because it's someone who's not communicating in their language. So they've just made it as simple as possible and they've got it. Even they've
Yeah,
got it.
yeah, absolutely. True, true.
Over the years, Sonia, obviously there's been so much to be proud of and, so much has been achieved, but have there ever been times throughout your chiropractic journey where you thought, I want to give up? Has that ever occurred? And if so, how did you kind of get through those times?
I think that probably I don't know that I'd ever give up because I think I would love to, like going on a mission trip. I would love to do that in Australia and even in the UK. Could you imagine if we could set something up where, I don't know, people could get a gold coin donation and they could get chiropractic care? You remember like Sigafus and Reggie Gold, just talking about clearing the prisons and BJ Palmer clearing the prisons. If we could adjust people, and my brother Joe went over and did a trip with Stu Bittman, and he went into some prisons, and he said it was the scariest thing he's ever done. But Stu through Sigafus were just like, but imagine if we can change their mindset, if we can get them thinking differently, then maybe they wouldn't end up in the prisons or they would leave the prisons because they would be thinking differently because they were more connected. I think whenever I feel like that, I've got a drawer full of cards that I get from patients at Christmas time and whatever, and I go back and I look through those, and it's a drawer. Like I kind of thought, well, I should actually, put it all together and put a folder and whatever. And when I left the UK, my CAs put together a folder of them and my patients, and they took a photo and they cut an arm and a leg and a head off, and they put like on a page they had the patient all disjointed, and then on the back page it was the patient all put together, and they're basically like, Sonia, this is the impact you've had on people. And that book and my cards and thinking about the patients that I see every day, I think that brings it back to being real. And sometimes I used to ring my mum, sometimes go, oh, this is really hard running a business and I've got to do staff training and I've got to fire the cleaner and hire a CA and whatever. And she'd say, that's okay, Sonia, you come back and just work in the bank. And I was like, I don't want to work in the bank. I want to be a chiropractor. But I just, she would just challenge me, I suppose, a little bit just on, yeah. And my dad was an accountant. He was in politics. And sometimes he's often at my house, he's writing a book and he's often at my house when I come in for lunch. And he'll go, tell me what happened today? And I go, oh, I had this little baby and she's 3 weeks prem and she won't suck because she's premature. And so, like I did some adjusting, did some internal cranial work and I just asked the mum to try latching the baby on and the baby just latched on straight away. My dad often just says to me, I never got that when I was in business. I never ever had somebody that grateful and the miracles that you see. He said, you get that every day in practice. Like, wow. I'm pretty lucky, I think. That's my job. So I think whenever I feel like I want to quit, I can ring so many of my colleagues or just go to a seminar. I make it like we have a saying sort of with our students in Australia, 4 seminars a year. You've got to dip in 4 times a year at least. And so like you go to CE or you go to Chiro Europe and you just go to 4, make it not negotiable. 4 times a year, you've got to dip in with your tribe. And if you do that, then, you got to improve and stay humble. I suppose it's like I learn my brother Sam's, oh gosh, Sam was 4 when I left home, I think. I have learned so much from Sam and I've got a lot more years in practice than he does, but he's just done things very differently to me. And I can learn so much from him. So I think to stay humble makes a massive difference and just keep learning, from students and from new grads and from the old guys too. We've got lots of older chiropractors in Australia, not as old as what they've got here. I think you've got some amazing grandfather clause people here. But, when you think of Kevin Proudman, you spent some time with him. Can you imagine the pearls and the gold that he's got? I was lucky enough. Paul Pringle was the first chiropractor that I worked with when I was doing my placement. And he was in Alice Springs. So I went back and worked with Paul Pringle as part of my placement when I first graduated. And he passed away last year now, I think. And he was in Ireland for quite a while and an American chiropractor and Canadian, I think. But, we've got some amazing chiropractors out there that just have so much gold. So I think doing that just keeps you going, keeps you motivated. I'd much rather do that than go work in the bank or for sure. That's true. Did you want to know who my people I'd take out for dinner? Who I'd go for dinner with?
Yeah.
Yes,
So
please.
these are 5 people, dead or alive, you would have dinner with.
Dead or alive. So I thought about that and I think Reggie Gold would be one for sure. He was like just educated people and excited. He had so much passion for chiropractic. And I think I would love to be Reggie Gold. I would love to be, someone that could empower people and excite people about chiropractic and just speak with such conviction. He was amazing. So Reggie Gold definitely would be, he's probably one of my first, I think I would pick. Simon Sinek would be another one. I just love his mind, the questions he asks, and I just love the way that he thinks. So Simon Sinek would be another one. My nonna would have been 108 at the moment, and she passed away when she was 98. And I would love to, I probably don't even think I would need to talk to her. I just need to sit next to her. I used to massage her hands. She had really bad rheumatoid arthritis in her hands. I used to massage her hands and gently just mobilize her neck. And she would, whenever I'd see her, she'd put her hand out like this and she would just go like this, like, just come here, Sonya. And just so did very, very gentle chiropractic care, like gone steady in the chair, very gentle stuff with her. But I think I would love to have some time with her as well. And then probably my fourth person would be Jesus. And I think the reason I say that is because I would love to know what I could do to make a difference in the world, but also to chiropractically, what could we do to make a difference in the world? Is it that we just need to reconnect people, or do we need to empower people? What as a chiropractor, we educate first and then adjust, according to BJ. So, if we've got to educate people first about how amazing their body is, how they're living in a temple, look after your temple that you live in. I just sort of think like, if we could do something more with chiropractic, what do we do? How do we do it to make the world a better place?
Amazing. And I think there's one more. Have you listed the four? Or
That was
five?
4. I thought I
That's
was number 5. I listed 4.
Now you get one more special
Oh
guest.
my gosh, one more special guest. Oh, God, you put me on the spot. Who else would I love to? Ooh. Don't know. I'm going to have to come back to you on that one.
That's okay. Who are you having dinner with this evening? I know you're going out for dinner. Who have you got?
I'm lucky. I'm going out with Melissa. I can't wait to spend time with Melissa. I knew Melissa way back when we were at uni. So she was part of our tribe with Wayne way back then. Because Wayne Whittingham was in my year. And so I've known Melissa for a long, long time. So I've got Melissa all to myself with the kids and Rob obviously as well for the next couple of days. So Melissa and Veronica Hope. So I sent her a message today and went, what are you doing? What's happening? And we're going out for dinner. So we're just going to go, I can't imagine I'm going to fall asleep at all, even though I'm a bit jet lagged. Only arrived early this morning. To have some time with some of my favorite people will be awesome. And then we've got the founders meeting tomorrow. So I can't wait to see some people I haven't seen for probably 20, 25 years. Still worked with me for a while, and I worked with Christoph with Kimberly. So both of those, I've sent them both a message and they're coming. So I'm looking forward to seeing them. And I haven't seen her and Steve for a long, long time. Neil and Rosemary, can't wait to see them. So
what a reunion it will be. I can't wait.
It's going to be
watch it
awesome.
all.
and the facilities, like the new UCA premises. Oh, just so proud. Who would have thought that little tiny group that we had to start with, that started with the UCA, and even nutting over what we were going to call it. You should see the names. We had lists and lists of names of
I
all
want
the.
to know, what were the potential names going to be?
Gosh, I don't know. I'll have to come back to you on that one.
Okay,
But we
okay.
had pages and pages, even fighting over not fighting over the core values. We had, I don't know, I think we had like 50 core values, and we had to narrow them right down to what the core values were. And Adrian was a machine in like making us zero right down and nut it down to, what's our mission statement? What's our vision statement? What's our vision story? What are our core values? It was just, and I love it that they're still on the website. We lost that with the ACA for a while in Australia. They sort of kind of were saying to get rid of the core values, and little Mary Papatheokaris helped us to get them all back on. But I think the UCA, I'm just so proud of what you guys have achieved. You've just sort of taken it from this little flame. It's now a massive bonfire, really bright, shining light in Europe. And I'm just, I just am so excited for where it's going to go. And it's just going to get better and better and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Sonya. Thank you so much. This hour has just, I don't know about you, Molly, but that's just absolutely flown by.
It's already been an hour.
Yeah.
I told you I love tea app.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for flying over for us. Thank you for joining us on this podcast so last minute. Thank you for founding the UCA. Thank you for everything you've done. And thank you for chatting with us this afternoon, and I know that our listeners are really gonna enjoy this one. So thanks again.
It's a pleasure. Thanks so much for all you guys are doing. I'm so excited to see where you're going to go.
Oh,
Thanks,
that's
Steve.
awesome. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode of Let's Talk UCA. Your feedback will help us deliver new topics and guests for future episodes. The bios of the interviewee and co-host, along with our contact links, are included in the show notes below. Thank you for listening.